y'all doing? Red here. Just want to do a pretty quick, to the point video today about how to set up your ammunition when you're preparing for a fight. Okay, so first we're going to go over philosophy, why, what, and where. Now, there's a lot of folks out there in the prepper community, survivalist community, readiness community. You know, they have self-defense weapons. Those may be handguns, rifles. There's a pretty heavy portion of us that have AR-15s. You know, and we have the rifle, or we have the guns, and you know, we say, you know, if it ever comes down to it, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to use. But I think for a lot of folks, there's not a lot of pre-planning and getting ready for that actual fight. You know, they think, okay, well, if something pops off, I can just grab my rifle, grab some ammo, head out the door, or whatever. But you know, those of y'all that are in the law enforcement community or veteran community, you know that preparing for a fight takes a lot of time. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Also, it depends on where that fight is going to take place. Are you the ambushing party, or are you the defensive party? You know, are you preparing for a siege? Are you preparing for someone to come to you bringing a fight? You know, if you are the aggressor, if you are the one that's going to the fight, you want more mobile ways of carrying that ammunition. If you are in a defensive situation, you know, it's still good to have more mobile ways to carry ammo, but also just having it kind of, you know, out in the open, so it's easy to grab, is important. So first thing I want to go over is going to be go bags. Now, I did make a video about my go bag. It is right here, and there is some ammunition in this, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff as well. This is more for an aggressive fight if I'm going somewhere else. It can be used in a defensive scenario as well, but this is set up more to throw on and go someplace. It's got extra ammunition, it's got some food, it's got a pretty large, substantial IFAK to take care of myself and others. It's got a good fixed blade fighting knife to it. It's got pistol mags as well as actual rifle mags for my AR-10. But that is for going somewhere, okay? Now for tactical gear, real quick, I'm going to add, it's always good to have a good radio. Don't necessarily just depend on cell phones. Cell phones can A, lose charge, B, lose service, C, service towers in your area can easily get shut off. They've done that more and more, especially within the last few years with the wide-scale protests and riots and stuff like that. They'll go to these large cities and they'll just cut cell service. In instances of people storming Capitol buildings and stuff like that, they cut the Wi-Fi too, so people can't link up using Wi-Fi, using Messenger and stuff like that. So having a good ham radio is definitely a good idea. You can also go to stores and buy, you know, regular two-way radios too, but just know that, you know, those are going to be flooded with comms, are going to be saturated with people talking on them. So having a good ham radio that, you know, you've got a good 200-300 channels that you and your group can use is extra important. I will put a quick footnote in there, of course, that if you're not a licensed ham radio operator, you legally are not allowed to transmit on these. You can listen all you want to. I'm not your mom. I'm not going to tell you what to do there, but that's up to you. So, when it comes to tactical gear, I've got my vest here. Shout out real quick to Hoplite Armor. I've got two of his swimmer plates in here. They're awesome. They're nice and light. I love them. But this is set up for my Glock 17 as well as my AR-10. So I've got extra ammo for my AR-10 here. So that's obviously a good way to carry ammunition into the fight, is have it on your person. Next thing I want to go over is the box of mags. So this right here is a box that I just have set up at my house. So if something happens and I'm inside my house, I don't have to necessarily worry about going through a bunch of bags and stuff like that to try to find magazines. I got them right here. I have one on top. This has 3 mags in it. Now, I like steel mags. I know there's a lot of folks that hate steel mags. They like polymer mags. They like Magpuls because the U.S. Marine Corps uses them, whatever. I like steel mags just because a lot of times they're inexpensive. But on top of that, you can buy inexpensive military surplus gear. And they're built to use the steel or aluminum mags. And if you try to put polymer mags inside stuff like this, they're just not going to fit. You might be able to fit 2 in here. You're not going to be able to fit 3, whereas with these aluminum mags, I can fit all 3 in there. But this is handy. Just say if I have a friend here or something like that, I can just take this and toss to them, and now they have 90 rounds for their rifle. This right here is a Bandolier. Again, former U.S. Army, Marine Corps, Air Force surplus. But this holds 6 steel mags. I can't close the covers on this one just because it has the Magpuls on them. But for these on this side, I definitely can. In this instance, I could just tuck this cover back here like that. It gives a little bit extra resistance, a little thickness to that pocket, and it holds those mags in place. Of course, they will still fall out, so you don't want to be doing any handstands with them. But it's got you know, a shoulder strap like this, so you can throw it on like a purse. You can make it longer, put it over your neck, whatever. That's another good way. You can just toss mags into a foxhole, toss them to buddies. Also got a Magpul 40 here. I think everybody that has an AR-15 ought to have at least a couple of those. I also have this right here as an example. This started its life as a kind of a surplus bandolier. Started off in like the Vietnam era. This version of it, basically, it comes up with these little cardboard boxes that hold 30 rounds per box on stripper clips. I do have a loading spoon tied to this, so if I do run into any stripper clips, I can definitely use my loading spoon, feed them into my mags. But anyways, there's a white thread on here, and it's just like on feed bags. Those of y'all that are agricultural farmers and stuff like that, you know what feed bags are. You pull the string, and the top just comes right off. Well, on these, you pull the string, and it opens up the whole bottom so that you can load full mags in here. And what's nice about these is it's 4 mags, and it folds up just nice and easy like that. Hand it to somebody. Of course, you can use this, wrap it around. One thing I will add on these, though, is that these are pretty flimsy. So what I do recommend is reinforcing where the straps actually meet the bandolier. Sew it, glue it, stuff like that. Just make sure you reinforce it real good, because otherwise, with a lot of moving around, these straps do break right where they meet the bandolier. So, I've got an ammo can here just with some extra loose ammunition. And also, I want to go over ammo cans. So, a lot of folks out there, they'll have, you know, an ammo can. And it'll be full of just boxed ammunition like this. And that's great. I have that too, obviously. And that's good for just keeping track of, you know, the brands of ammunition and the various classes, steel case, brass, stuff like that. That's great. But in a fight, if you're reloading ammunition, you don't necessarily want to be pouring stuff out of the boxes and taking the internal packaging out and stuff like that. This is another example. This is a Spam can, and these are awesome for vacuum packing stuff. You know, this right here will keep for 80 years, and you can use the can opener, open it, and air from 2019 will come out, and the ammunition will be nice and fresh. Ammunition does expire. If it's subjected to any kind of moisture at all, it's going to start corroding over time. You can clean up that ammunition by letting it sit in a vinegar solution. Just don't let it sit for very long, and then just wipe that off. Let it air dry. try to shoot that ammunition as soon as possible, otherwise it will start corroding again. Of course, you don't want to just throw that back in a bag and expect it to be good 5 years from now. An example is this piece of ammunition right here. This was extremely corroded, and I put it in a vinegar solution probably about a year ago. It took all the green off, but it's reduced the brass. It's not a nice, clean brass anymore. It is on this end, but not so much on this end. It's a lot darker. And this is far more prone to corroding again than just regular ammunition. It's going to corrode twice as fast. So, what I recommend folks do, in the very least, is have at least one can full of bagged ammunition, like this. That way you can just open the bag and start loading your mags, okay? This is a lot harder to count, obviously. So something like this, you'd want to load up and then, you know, write down somewhere on the bag or on the box or whatever how much ammunition is there. This way you can keep that in mind, and because handling every single round, especially if you're going to sit there and recount it all the time, you're going to get the oils off your fingers on there. You're going to subject that ammunition to humidity in the air, and it's going to start corroding. This right here, I have it labeled 540 rounds, but you open it up, and this is what I was talking about just a minute ago, is these surplus lanyards right here that come in these card boxes. Okay, so now this one right here, I made this special, so it's not a surplus one, but the surplus ones that come in cards like this, 30 rounds, and they're on stripper clips. This is steel case, obviously. This is not surplus. This is something that I did. They come in these stripper clips, and you use the loading spoons like this here. You can buy these inexpensively for like 10 bucks for 20 of them or something like that on Amazon and eBay. But you use the spoons, you fit them on the back of a magazine like so. Most magazines have little grooves, and you just take that ammunition. I'm not going to actually do this because this mag's already loaded. Stick it in there, and with your finger as close to the stripper clip as possible, just push that ammunition in. It's super simple. So this is better than just having it in the bag. The bag is better than just having it sitting in a box, and the box is still better than just having it in the Spam cans. But the Spam cans obviously are going to last you a whole heck of a lot longer than having something in cardboard boxes or in Ziploc bags. So having stuff like this just kind of already set up is excellent. It's great for just reaching down and being able to grab the fully loaded magazines. If you have multiple people in, say, the siege or whatever, you can have several people shooting, and you can have several other people just sitting there reloading mags. And reloading with the stripper clips is definitely a lot faster than reloading just individual rounds out of a bag or out of a box. One thing also I will recommend with the stripper clips is make sure the person that's doing it has pretty strong hands. Loading with those stripper clips can be a little bit of pain, especially for folks with weaker, smaller hands. You don't want to necessarily just hand that to your 9-year-old kid and say, okay, reload daddy's magazine, because they're going to have a tough time with it, especially if they don't have any practice. So anyways, if y'all enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you have any questions or concerns, drop them in the comments. Feel free to share this video on social media. Have a great day.